Hi, welcome to MediatorPodcast.com, a podcast and video series about mediation, negotiation, and collaboration. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online valuation, divorce, and mediation services in St. Louis, Missouri. In this week's episode, we are going to discuss, do you have what it takes to be a mediator? With Kimberly Best. She's a registered nurse, mediator, and conflict coach based in Franklin, Tennessee. She's also authored the book of How to Live Forever, a guide to writing the final chapter of your life story. Also, as our guest is Elliot Herland, a mediator focused on workers' compensation cases based in Minneapolis. He's also the vice chair of the ABA section of dispute resolution in the membership committee. Welcome, Kim and Elliot. How do I pull in business? How did you guys, Elliot, when you decided to shift from being an attorney, how did you go and get business? Now we know relationships, we know those types of things, but what other conscious things did you do in your practice?
Well, I was fortunate in going from practice to the Department of Labor and Industry, where people were funneled into me. So the marketing wasn't as important because like court systems will go to a roster of mediators. Here I was a mediator where parties would go for work comp. And then after that, I went to the Union Construction Workers' Compensation Program as the dispute resolution facilitator and doing mediations for both systems now. So people got to know me. But it's interesting because once you leave that type of environment, now you're on your own and people might know you, but maybe they don't want to use you, or maybe they do, but it's important that they know you're there. You develop a certain personality, but then again, you need to participate. You need to get out there and be with people it was a lot nicer when you could be in person and you could take people out to lunch. But you need to have a website. So that you can be found, especially people who are more geared toward the computer. People in my age group, it's word of mouth, but when someone doesn't know you, if they Google you and you don't have a website, well, now you've lost a lot of credibility. Right. Reputation, you need to be persistent, and you need to work. You need to have that, to use another P word, I guess, perspiration. You got to put some sweat into it, some skin in the game, and learn how to promote yourself.
What about you, Kim? What got you?
So it's all relationships. I mean, I did learn, I've heard that our profession is not one that you can advertise for. It just doesn't really work, but you have to build relationships. And like Elliot said, you have to put yourself out there. So giving talks on conflict, giving talks on what is mediation, speaking to groups, but also joining whatever professional organizations like the ABA, like your local, whatever your state organization is. They'll often offer either free or reasonably priced continuing education, networking with like people, and then using every opportunity to promote mediation, not yourself as a mediator, and you can, of course, I'm not saying don't, but mediation in general, like you said, the many uses. I mean, you described having area of expertise when you mediate, which is also what Elliot talked about as far as having passion. Your passion is your area of expertise. A lot of people, I know a lot of, really good mediators who, because the skill set is the same across the board, have become so good at their skill set that they can mediate anything, a broad range of things, because we don't necessarily have to be experts in a certain field to be, to be good mediators. Though I think it helps tremendously. And as a non-attorney mediator, there are places where I think an attorney mediator would be way better served than me. Depending on what I do feel like I have enough knowledge that for people to be able to come out with their best agreement.
Yeah, and I think as an expert at this, you guys could probably mediate anything, right? Because you've built the knowledge of how to mediate, how to get people to get to a different position. Like all of those are the skills that I think you can only learn in mediation. Like there's certain things I'll test out negotiation tactics, like on my yard guy, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to see how and test it out with your friends. I mean, because why not see how humans make decisions based on knowledge? Like I don't always know how somebody's going to react. So like I test out things on my husband or my friends or Marina. No, I don't do that. I'm just saying, but I think that's like I don't read self-help books. I read negotiation books. I read business books. Like that's my self-care, if you will. But I think that what were you going to say, Elliot? You were going to have another point about how you bring in business and how you connect?
Well, I think one of the most important things to your relationship with other people and your reputation is to be professional.
Yeah.
You cannot come into this in a overly casual way. You don't want to be too stiff either. You don't want to be boring. You have to have a personality, but always underlying that is you need to be a professional. You're being paid. So unless you're doing pro bono, and even then you are being paid because you're getting to exercise those mediation muscles and build up that strength to get you and the people you're serving.
But even if you're doing pro bono, I think this is the difference, because I'll do this when I go and testify, right? Or if I'm getting deposed. When I go into a deposition, first of all, I've been reading a lot of stuff and they say show up to impress yourself, right? To just show up and be there and be the best that you are, right? For yourself. But then the next thing is I'm not trying to impress my client or my attorney. I'm here to make sure that the other attorney will never hire anybody else after he's gone through my deposition or I've been on the other side of him, right? And it's the same with pro bono. There's a lot to be said of how because, like I'm on a case right now that I was appointed by the court, and everybody's clearly identified that I have not gotten paid anywhere near what 3 years of work has been, but that's okay. But I was appointed by the court and that's fine. To me, professionalism shows up when you are not fairly compensated, when you are doing pro bono, or you are there. Do you show up professionally? Do you do the best you can do in all situations, regardless? Because what I told the attorney, I said, I'm not here any longer to get paid. Obviously, I'm not here for the attorney or the clients or anything. I'm here for the judge. I was appointed by the judge. I will show up and I will represent my reputation, not what anybody else did. And I think that says more to your own character, how you show up in any of those situations. So if you're starting out, absolutely, I think you should take every single opportunity as very important,